Is an excerpt from a piece entitled Changing Landmarks by Dr. Kim Oriel. Um, so I'm going to talk about memoir and memory, and I'll try to connect to diasporic experiences and what comes into play when we talk about diasporic experiences in memoir writing. And recently a memoir that came out, my memoir, 6-7 months ago. So that I thought that is very contextual to talk about that as well. So let me begin with this excerpt. This morning, I want my grandmother, who died 2 decades ago, to boil rice and cook eggplant vegetables for me. I have visited my parents' home in the village many times since her passing, and she's missed every time. But this time it feels different. The sun has risen as it always does, but it seems to have acted anachronistically. I haven't had my meal prepared by my grandmother yet, and I'm about to leave for my high school. It doesn't matter that I'm not a 14-year-old schoolboy anymore, and I'm visiting my school as a guest, not as a student. It's easy to go to school these days, my mother says, handing me a stainless steel tumbler, holding it carefully with both hands. That's good, Amma, I say. In the last few years, numerous tracks have opened in the mountains. A new road is being constructed along the Kaligandaki River, and I have heard that 3-wheeler tuk-tuk are in operation from my village to the area where the whole old high school, the village office, and a health center are located. I can understand how easy the newly opened road must have made for these who need to travel to that area. The children from my village don't attend that school anymore. So let me in this passage right here. So what I'm trying to say is that in this piece, what Dr. Oriel has tried to do as a narrator is he goes back to Nepal and try to visit his place, and a lot of memories, come into play. Basically, the time he left his home or his place, pretty much is not actually the way it was when he was there those days. And after many years back, I think he doesn't find exactly the thing that was there, the tree that was planted right there, and even if it was there, it has been dislocated, or it has been, its position has changed, and then it really gives him a hard time to realign the memory, to readjust the memory, to find himself, where he belongs to. He questions his own belongingness, and that is what comes into play for the diasporic writer like us, who leaves our home place and then leaves abroad and then try to go back to those places and then try to re-experience the moment. And that is what memory is about, or diasporic writing is about. So talking about a memoir, we do not have many memoirs written in English. I mean, Nepalese writer writing a memoir in English. We do not have many writers as such, but I would like to begin with a few books called memoirs. Some of them are Nepali, but I would like to mention that as well. Let me just read a few. Okay, so besides some recurring names such as Manjushri Thapa or Peter J. Karthik, there are few Nepali writers who have written memoirs in English. However, we cannot ignore some memoirs originally written in Nepali, such as Jagdish Ghimir's Antarmanko Yatra, one of the best memoirs that brings his subjective experiences of suffering from cancer. It explores his deeply rooted psyche, although the narrative does not resonate. Okay. And similarly, another memoir is by Niranjan Kumar and entitled Between Queens and the Cities, and that is the first English language queer memoir from Nepal. And that chronicles the life of gay men navigating between New York City and Kathmandu, highlighting some diasporic experiences, but mostly the struggles of LGBTQ plus individuals. And recently, I got a text message regarding the one memoir came out that was entitled Cracks in the Wind by Arun Gupta, and that explores his own journey into a boyhood shaped by vast plains, whispering winds, and the quiet weight of memory. However, what one thing we find in common amongst all these memoirs is their subjective experiences. But what we don't find is they do not have that diasporic experience, because none of those memoirs that have been written have that kind of a, the diasporic life they have lived so far, they have not lived so far. So that could be the reason why we still do not find that kind of a diasporic experiences in their memoirs. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to continue to write our subjective experience, because writing a memoir is more about your subjective experiences, your psyche. That is what N. Carr is another memoirist. He talks about that writing your psyche is what makes your memoir memorable. That is what your memory is all about. So, and we have a lot of memories, right? For example, we are going to a destination on the way, and we might end up seeing so many things on the way, and everything comes to our mind. Will we be writing about all of those? No, you will be writing about something that you cannot forget about, and that is the power of your memory. You have to write about. And if you start writing about everything that you remember, because it's not only about remembering, it is also about remembering. That is what memory is about, and that is what memory is about. And how we can make our memoir memorable is, it's not only about writing your memory just based off of what you experience or what you think or what you imagine or you remember. It is also about re-experiencing your memory, or maybe adjusting your memory using research. And that is how, using your research, you try to realign yourself. You try to, confirm the truth, or you might do, you will be able to deepen the emotional truth within it, and that matters, in your memoir. So why I am, talking about the importance of research is, even in this piece, this excerpt that I read so far, here the narrator has, what he has done is that he has kind of done a little bit of a research and tried to adjust his, memory, that should we have that kind of a change? The road, there's a lot of road constructions, and now there is, the vehicles on the road, and its village has completely changed. That is, the village is not the way it was before in the past. And then, but it has to be the way it is, because we need change. We cannot go back to the past the way it was. We need a change, and we must accept the change. And finally, the narrator agrees with the idea of a change, and for that reason, the narrator brings the research into play, and then that confirms these, emotion that basically address the feeling of vulnerability, and that is the reason why we need the research for as well in writing a memoir. So going back to now, I'm trying to wrap up with that final thought. So what I suggest, those who are interested in writing, or you want to write about your own feelings and experiences, you might have a lot of memories from the past, memories from your back home, or the experiences you have living in the US. Try to be very honest. Don't try to exaggerate. Place, time, context are very, very important, and that shape your experience. And you need to go back to the time and then the place and cultural context and try to study that. And that will definitely help you understand your own emotions, and also help you understand your own experience as well. And then what you have to do is that you have to continue writing your subjective experiences, your lived experiences, very honestly and truthfully. And that is what makes your writing, or takes your writing to a next level. Earlier, Dr. Nagaraj Lamsal mentioned that what do we need to write next? What we have to write? What we are going to write next? What I think is that I think we do not need to worry about that, because what makes Devkota his time, place, his cultural context, the time and space shape his experiences, and he continued writing his experiences and then his subjective experiences based off of where he was, and that is what had saved him. That was not his conscious choice. Hey, I will contribute this to the literature. That was not his conscious choice. He continued writing very, very honestly, And his subjective experiences came from where he was, and that socio-political, cultural, milieu shaped his mindset. And that is exactly what happened to Parijat. Parijat, what she wrote about absurdism or existentialism or whatever was not her conscious choice, because she had a lot of issues, physical issues, disabilities. She had gone through a lot of harrowing experiences in her life, and that shaped her mindset, her lived experiences. And so what she did was she totally and absolutely and graciously and stunningly wrote her own lived experiences so truthfully, so honestly, so graciously, and that took her to a next level, contributing to the literature. So that is what we should continue doing in our life as well, and that will take our Nepalese literature to a next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Acharya.